Proverbs chapter 19. Better is a poor person who walks in his integrity than one who is crooked in speech and is a fool. Desire without knowledge is not good, and whoever makes haste with his feet misses his way. When a man's folly brings his way to ruin, his heart rages against the Lord. Wealth brings many new friends, but a poor man is deserted by his friend. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will not escape. Many seek the favor of a generous man, and everyone is a friend to a man who gives gifts. All a poor man's brothers hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursues them with words, but does not have them. Verse 8, whoever gets sense loves his own soul. He who keeps understanding will discover good. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will perish. It is not fitting for a fool to live in luxury, much less for a slave to rule over princes. Good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense. A king's wrath is like the growling of a lion, but his favor is like dew on grass. A foolish son is ruin to his father, and a wife's quarreling is a continual dripping of rain. House and wealth are inherited from fathers, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Slothfulness casts into a deep sleep, and an idle person will suffer hunger. Whoever keeps the commandment keeps his life. He who despises his ways will die. Whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deed. Discipline your son, for there is hope. Do not set your heart on putting him to death. A man of great wrath will pay the penalty, for if you deliver him, you will only have to do it again. Listen to advice and accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom in the future. Many are the plans of the mind in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. What is desired in a man is steadfast love, and a poor man is better than a liar. The fear of the Lord leads to life, and whoever has it rests satisfied. He will not be visited by harm. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish and will not even bring it back to his mouth. Strike a scoffer, and the simple will learn prudence. Reprove a man of understanding, and he will gain knowledge. He who does violence to his father and chases away his mother is a son who brings shame and reproach. Cease to hear instruction, my son, and you will stray from the words of knowledge. A worthless witness mocks at justice, and the mouth of the wicked devours iniquity. Condemnation is ready for scoffers and beating for the backs of fools. Have you ever spent weeks, months, maybe even years planning something out? A business, a renovation in your home, a camping trip, or building a table, maybe doing some arts and crafts, whatever it is, the simplest to the grandest. Maybe you've spent a lot of time planning, and then when the execution came, it just didn't work out the way you thought it would. You hit a lot of roadblocks, you ran out of money, you got sick. This is kind of what chapter 19 in Proverbs looks like. And welcome, by the way, to day 19 of our Proverbs Bible study series. There is a way that seems right unto man. We have repeated that theme, that principle, throughout this book. And a great representation, a great summary of chapter 19 is a list of principles that are contrasting. We've seen a lot of contrasts over the past couple of days. The short and sweet of it is God's plan is better than our plans. But what exactly is God's plan for our life? It's wisdom, it's integrity, it's honesty, it's diligence, it's discernment, it's prudence. It's all of these things that we've been talking about for several days now. This is God's plan and his will for the believer, for you and for me. And what is so beautiful about the Christian faith is right here we have the blueprints. We've got the plans. So when you ask, how do I become wise? How do I gain integrity? What does the opposite of integrity look like? It's right here. We just read it. Better is a poor person who walks in his integrity than one who is crooked in speech and is a fool. This is a great start to that concept and a great example. Is it saying that it's better to be a poor person than a rich person? No, that's not what it's communicating. However, there is a lesson in how you actually go about becoming wealthy. And the means by which you get to that end are corrupt, or they take advantage of other people. They are pretty much everything that Proverbs warns against. Then, yes, it is better to be a person that is poor, yet contains and holds his integrity. And how often do we do that? No matter what plans we have, we try to go about it our own way. Very rarely do we tend to involve God. And speaking for myself, speaking from my own experience, I can say that. And it almost never goes according to plan, because just like that first passage, the motives, the intent is oftentimes selfish. It's what I think I need, what I think I deserve, what I think will make me happy or bring me peace. And when that is our foundation, that's where selfishness is bred. That is where all of the contrasting qualities of the fruits of the Spirit are bred. And then verse 2 is kind of a subpoint of all of that, and that is that motive, the desire by which we go about our plans, the things that we do. If we're doing it without knowledge, if we're doing it without wisdom, you're going to miss the mark. And then ultimately, our foolishness is what brings us to the feet of Jesus. And oftentimes it's to wage war. It's to blame God. And we see that in verse 3. When a man's folly brings way to ruin, his heart rages against the Lord. God, why didn't you let that happen? Why didn't you make this happen for me? Why didn't you blah, 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 blah? Well, did you involve me in your plans? Did you pray about it? Did we consult? No, we didn't. Again, speaking from experience, okay? You may be sitting on the other side of the screen thinking, I have prayed. I don't know who you're talking to. Well, right now I'm looking at the monitor on the camera and all I see is me. But I'm sure there's somebody out there that feels the same way. The reminder is to follow your desires, chase after your dreams, chase after your ambitions, but involve God in all of those things. Do not ignore wisdom. And do not skip God's plan for you. How do we do that? We submit those plans to God. Take the lead. I'm going to follow you. And there is peace, there is security, there is a refuge right there. That sounds like a plan that I want to be a part of. Now, what else does God's plan look like? God's plan for us includes somebody that loves wisdom. They love knowledge. They love sense. They love understanding. It says it right here, verse 8. Whoever gets sense loves his own soul. He who keeps understanding will discover good. Again, a couple of verses down. The result of that is that good sense makes one slow to anger, and it's his glory to overlook an offense. You become somebody that is not hot-headed. You're responsive, not reactive. And the result of that is that you become a very gracious and very forgiving person. And we need more gracious and forgiving people in this world. Period. Mic drop. That's the end of the video. There's nothing else to say after that. I mean, that is it right there. But there is more to say here, so I'm gonna keep going. What else does God's plan look like? Well, it's not slothfulness. So you're not lazy. You're diligent. You work hard. It's somebody that loves discipline. Somebody that loves reproof. That is okay to be corrected. And we don't like correction. We don't like feedback. I don't know what it is about our generation. My generation, we just, as a society, we just don't seem to like being corrected. I am a testimony to this. Again, but if we're going to build our house on wisdom, if we're going to follow God's plan, then we have to accept that and be okay with that and kind of want that. And if you are a woodworker like myself, if you enjoy woodworking, then you'll probably understand it this way. How many times have you gone to measure an opening and you walk away and in your head, you're like, did I measure that right? Was it 19 and 5/8 or 19 and 3/8? How many times have I just assumed what was right in my head and I've gone and made the cut only to turn around and the piece is way too big or it's way too small? You got to go back and recut it when all you really had to do is just go and measure it again. And every time I work on something, that's what I do. Before I cut anything, if I feel like I didn't quite understand what I saw, I will go back and remeasure just to make sure, when in reality, I should just write it down and then that would solve the whole thing, but I'm not that smart. And the problem is you end up making a bunch of mistakes, or whatever you build isn't quite the right thing. It's not quite square. It's not quite plumb. And this is the same for our walk with Jesus, is that when we reject that correction or that reproof, we reject that repentance, asking for forgiveness, trying to walk by the Spirit and not by the flesh, we are rejecting everything that God has for us. And we are building a house not on the foundation of wisdom, but just on the foundation of our pride that says, I don't want to be wrong, or I don't want to have to hear that I'm wrong. I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want to have to, it's just, I'm not, you get what I'm saying, right? Like that's the vibe, that's the feeling. And so we just accept whatever feels good. But God is saying that he who loves sense loves his own soul. He who keeps understanding will discover good. Verse 20, listen to advice, accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom for the future. Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. I mean, you can't get more clear as that. I've got a million plans, but it is the purpose of the Lord that stands, not the purpose of Justin. It is the purpose of God. And then to kind of just put a stamp of like, this is the final thing of God's plan, It just starts with the basis of Proverbs in general, which is just the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. It's the reverence for God. It's the respect for God. It's the humility and the surrender, the submission to God and to his plan for us. We're accepting that his blueprint for the house that he wants us to build and live in on wisdom is better than the house that we want to build. His plan is for us to go back and remeasure because that's the right thing to do. It's that correction. It's not to just be prideful and say, I got it figured out. If this video resonated with you today, let me know in the comments, what are the plans that you've been pursuing and how have you been redirected to follow God's plan? Like myself, maybe I can share more of that. I know I have a little bit here and there. We'll kind of see how the rest of these chapters play out, and maybe I can kind of throw it in there, but I'd love to hear your story. So thank you guys for watching day 19, chapter 19, and we will see you tomorrow, day 20, chapter 20.